Good morning, guys. So after a long weekend, so last session we discussed around about strings and command line arguments. So again, string has the siblings. Siblings are string buffer and string builder. Okay, so after that we learned about the command line argument. I'm giving the summary of previous sessions what we discussed generally. Okay, we learned about string. Okay, string has the siblings like a string buffer, and then after that we discussed about the string builder. String builder. After that we learned about the command line arguments. Command line arguments. So these are the things we learned in the last sessions. Command line arguments, string buffer, and string builder, and then command line arguments. Okay. So today let us start with OOPS principle. OOPS basics. So already I can categorize the OOPS into two categories. One is the part 1 and second one is the part 2. So today we'll start with the OOPS principles. OOPS part 1. OOPS part 1. Okay, the basic thing is, what does it mean by OOPS? OOPS is the objective oriented programming system. So the abbreviation I will write here. Object oriented programming system. Object oriented programming system. Programming system. So before going to start the OOPS principles, so we have the some the purpose, what is the need of OOP language. So before going to start with the OOP language, so there we have the some history. So we'll try to about history. Because generally, already you know the language. So the language is a mediator which is used to communicate between two persons. That language might be anything. Similarly, we have the programming language which is used to communicate between one human and machine. So where we will use the programming language which is used to communicate between the human and machines. So this already you know. Now generally programming language is divided into two types. The point is, I can say the point is, I will increase the some font size. Programming language is divided into two types. Language is divided into two types. Divided into two types. So what are the two types generally? First one is the pop language. Pop language. What does it mean by pop language? Pop language meaning procedural oriented language. Procedural oriented language. And what are the examples comes under the category of pop language? These are the old languages are I would say C language and C plus language and Pascal language. Pascal language. These are comes under the category of pop language. Pop language, okay? Procedural oriented language. And type is second type is object oriented language. That is called OOP language. OOP language. So this is called object oriented language. Object oriented language. What are the examples for the object oriented language generally? So examples are Java, and we have the C sharp, and we have the Python. Python. These are the some examples of OOP language. So generally, programming language is divided into two types. One is the POP language, POP meaning procedure-oriented language. Second one is the OOP language. OOP language meaning object-oriented language. Object-oriented language. Okay. Okay. So generally, so we'll try with we'll go with what does it mean by POP language. So why the people now instead of POP language, why the people are using OOP language. So we'll try to understand some history of the POP language. So generally, in pop language, I can say in pop language we can develop, in pop language we will develop we will develop functions and procedures, functions and processors in pop language. In pop language we will develop functions and processors, functions and processors. And here if you want if you want to add more functionalities, if you want to add more functionalities, if you want to add more functionalities, then then we need to develop then we need to develop more functions, more functions, more functions. So if the project contains the more functions, maintaining and maintaining and managing the project is difficult. Maintaining and managing the project is difficult. Managing the project is difficult. Difficult task. Okay, difficult task. Okay, difficult task. So and in pop language, in pop language I can say in pop language, data is globally exposed. Data is globally exposed. Globally exposed. That is one a very big drawback in the pop language. And one more the thing is in pop language, in pop language, in pop language, no security. Okay, if the data is exposed globally, then you can obviously there is no security. So in pop language there is no security. In pop language no security, there is no security, there is no security. So these are the I would say some drawbacks. We will go with the pop language. So we can develop the pop language. We will develop functions and procedures, functions and procedures. Okay, if you want add more functionalities, then we need to develop the more functions. And maintaining and managing the project, maintaining the project, or you can say functions, more functions, more functions is a difficult task. Okay, maintaining and managing the project or more functions is difficult task. In pop language data is globally exposed. In pop language, data is globally exposed, and in pop language, there is no security. Okay, so these are the some drawbacks comes under with respect to pop language. Pop language. So these are the drawbacks actually. So how to overcome those drawbacks? So that is the reason the Java people introduced the OOP language. OOP language. Okay. So in OOP language, in OOP language, we will develop. We will develop classes and methods, classes and methods, classes and methods. So here we can develop the classes and methods. And next point is, so here it will provide, OOP language will provide security. OOP language, it will provide the data is not globally exposed, and in OOP language it will provide the security. Okay, so OOP language data is no uh, data is does not exposed globally. Okay, in OOP language does not expose expose data globally, expose the data globally, globally. And OOP language provide the security. OOP language, OOP language provide the security. OOP language provides the security, provides the security. And next point is, if any language supports if any language supports OOPS principles, then that language is called OOP language. If any language, if any language supports, if any language supports OOPS principles, OOPS principles, then that language is called, that language is called OOP language. Then that language is called OOP language. OOP language. Then what are the OOP principles we have? What are the OOPs principles? So we have the OOPs principles totally four, right? What are the OOPs principles? OOPs principles. OOPs principles we have totally four. Like where we have the encapsulation and where we have the I can say abstraction and we have the polymorphism and we have the inheritance. We have the inheritance. We have the inheritance. Four principles. In which language supports these four principles, then that language is called OOP language, OOP supported language, OOP supported language. So these are the I would say the basic difference between the pop language and OOP language. Pop language is the old language. Okay, so at the time of these are the old technologies like C, C++, Pascal, and these are the old technologies. These are the legacy technologies. Okay, so generally, if you go with the pop language, we will develop functions and procedures. If you want to add more functionalities, then we need to develop more functions. Maintaining and managing the project or more functions is difficult task. In pop language, data is globally exposed. In pop language, there is no security. There is no security. Okay, there is no security. If the data is globally exposed, meaning then outside people also can easily can get our data, and outside people also can able to access our data. There is no security, right? So that is the reason the JDK people has introduced OOPS principles, OOP language. OOP language we will develop OOP language by using classes and methods. OOP language does not export the data globally. OOP language provides the security. In any language support the if any language supports OOPS principles, then that language is called OOP language. Then that language is called OOP language. What are the OOPS principles we have? The OOPS principles we have four: encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, and inheritance. So I will give overview of it like what does it mean by encapsulation. So generally encapsulation meaning it is the process of combining variables and methods as a single entity is called encapsulation is called encapsulation is called encapsulation. What is the purpose of encapsulation is it will provide security. It will provide the security, or it will hide the data. It will hide the data. Okay. Next, abstraction. Abstraction meaning it is the process of hiding the unnecessary data, hiding the unnecessary data, hiding the unnecessary data, and provide the required information, and hiding the unnecessary data and provide required information is called abstraction. Provide required information is called abstraction. Okay, so here here the thing is we can achieve the abstraction. We can achieve the abstraction by using the abstract classes. We can achieve the abstraction by using abstract classes. So going forward, we'll discuss like what is it mean by abstract classes. By using abstract classes, and we have the interface. Okay, so we can achieve the abstraction by using the abstract class and interface. Okay, so after that we have the polymorphism. What does it mean by polymorphism? If one object exhibits multiple behaviors, exhibits multiple behaviors based on the situation. Multiple behaviors based on the situation, situation, based on the situation is called, based on the situation is called polymorphism. Polymorphism. Okay, again the polymorphism is divided into two types. One is the compile time polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, and the second one is the runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism. First one is the compile type polymorphism, and second one is the runtime polymorphism. Polymorphism is divided into two types: compile type polymorphism, and the second one is the runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism. So at the time of polymorphism, we will discuss so briefly about polymorphism. So as of now, I am giving overview. Okay, next you have the inheritance. So what does it mean by inheritance? What is the purpose of inheritance? So the inheritance meaning, it is the process of inheritance meaning, it is the process of extending the, it is the process of extending, I can say extending the properties from one class to another class, one class to another class. It is the process of extending the properties from one class to another class is called inheritance. Is called inheritance. What is the purpose of inheritance? What is the need of inheritance in Java programming, in the programming language? Meaning code reusability. Code reusability. So there at the time of inheritance we can get the clarity. So there we can learn with respect to variables, with respect to methods, with respect to constructors. So everything we will learn. So there at the time of thing you can get the clarity. What does it mean by code reusability? Code reusability. Okay. Next thing is in the inheritance, again it is having the types, five types. Generally it is having single level inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance, and multiple inheritance. These are the five types. These are the five types it is having. So these are the four principles. Which language supports these four principles, then such language is called, that language is called OOP supported language, are called, are also called as OOP language, are also called as OOP language. Okay, so these are the four principles. Okay, fine. So let's start with OOPs part 1. In the OOP part 1, generally what are the topics we have generally? So in the OOP part number 1, so the first topic is, so we will discuss what does it mean by class and object. Class and object. And second topic we will discuss about the types of variables. And third topic we will discuss about the types of methods. Types of methods. And fourth one we will discuss about types of constructors. Types of constructors. Okay, and fifth one we will discuss about the some final keyword, final, and this keyword, and super keyword. These are the keywords we will discuss at the time of fifth one. And after that we will discuss about the access specifiers. Access specifiers. Access specifiers. Okay, these are the topics going forward we will discuss. So in OOP part 1, in OOP part 1. Okay, so today we'll start with the class and object. Today we'll start with class and object. The first thing is, if they will ask like what is class, so first we'll go with the class. So generally class is a, class is a model or plan or template. Okay, class is a model or plan or template. Okay, so some of them they say like class is a blueprint of the object also. So somebody they will call like this. So class is a blueprint of object. Blueprint of object. So generally blueprint is nothing but, blueprint is nothing but plan only. Blueprint is nothing but plan only. Like if you are go to the Chrome, and if you are look for the like the please give me a definition for the class, then obviously it will give the definition is like this. So class is a blueprint of the object. So generally blueprint is nothing but plan only. Blueprint is nothing but plan only. Okay, this is the one way. And this is the generally class is a model or plan or template. Plan or template. So if you see the some books, so they might be they will uh, they wrote like class is a blueprint of object. Blueprint is nothing but plan only. Blueprint is nothing but plan only. Blueprint is nothing but plan only. Okay, so next, what is the purpose of class? So generally class is used to declare, class is used to declare variables and methods. Variables and methods. Class is used to declare variables and methods. Class is used to declare variables and methods. Variables and methods. So program like project means like when you join in any project, so you will develop the projects, right? So project means project means collection of classes only. Collection of classes only. Project is nothing but collection of classes only. Collection of classes only. Next point. Next point. So once class created, once class created, we can we can create a once class created, once class created, we can create a we can create number of objects for the class. Number of number of objects for the class. Number of objects for the class. That what is the syntax for the class? So generally the syntax for the class already, so from starting class onwards we are daily we are writing some programs, right? So access is specifier, class keyword and class name. Class name is the demo. Class name is the demo, and from here to here, this is the scope of the class. Inside the class I will write some logic. Some logic like main method I will take. So inside the main method I will write. I will write something based on my requirement. I can write my business logic. So similarly, so what I'm telling here, syntax. Syntax for my class is class. Class is the keyword and the class name is the demo. Already you know how to write the naming conventions for the class names. Naming conventions for the class name. Okay, once class created, we can create number of objects. We can create number of objects. Then the next point is class is the predefined keyword. Okay, class is the predefined keyword. Predefined keyword. So already at the time of learning the keywords, so already I told you class is the keyword. Class is the keyword, predefined keyword, which is used to class is the predefined keyword which is used to create the class, which is used to create the class, which is used to create the class, create the class. Okay, and the next thing is class does not exist physically. Class does not exist physically. Class does not exist physically. Exist physically. Many class is just imagination. Class is just imagination. For example, I will tell you some example, real-time examples. So you know through that you can easily grab the information. For example, if you want to construct a building, so directly, what is the first requirement? Directly, you able to construct the building without any planning? No, that is not a good thing, right? So the first requirement is plan. Plan is nothing but imagination. So how many states? Like two states, three states. How many states you want? So first you can the basic requirement is imagination. That imagination is called plan. Based on the plan only, you can start construction. Based on the imagination only you can start the construction. So here also class is the imagination only, which does not exist physically. Okay, the point is class does not exist physically. Why? Because class is just imagination. So here you can mention the class name here, and after the class name you can mention main method. Inside the main method you can write your imagination, like my building want two states, color, properties, everything about the related the building.
you can write here. Everything about the building you can write here. Okay, so the thing is, class is just imagination. Class is just imagination. So these are the points with respect to class. Class is a model or plan or template. Class is a blueprint of object. Class is used to declare variables and methods. Project means collection of classes only. Next, once class created, we can create a number of object for classes. Number of object for the classes. Okay, number of objects for the classes. Next, class is the predefined keyword which is used to create the class. Which is used to create the class. Class does not exist physically. Why? Because class is just imagination only. Class is just imagine. Class is just imagination only. Okay, so class code will be stored in the, already you know the JVM architecture, right? Class code will be stored in the method area. Class code will be stored in the method area. Class code will be stored in the method area. So these are the points you can remember in case of, so with respect to class. I hope this is clear. Okay, these are the points you should remember with respect to class. Okay, so next we'll go with object. We'll go with object. So generally, object meaning any real world entity. So object meaning any real world entity. Any real world entity is called object. Any real world entity is called object. Any real world entity means, so whatever the thing, whatever we are looking and whatever we are touching with our hands. So here I have the mouse and water bottle and a tab I have. So whatever I am saying, so everything you can say object. So anything which is exist physically in the earth, in the world, everything you can say example for the object. Everything, anything. For example, in my room I have the fan. So fan is also one object. I have the tube light. So any entity, any object, whatever the thing we are looking with our eyes and whatever the thing we are touching with our hand, anything, everything you can say example for the object. Everything is the object only. Everything is the object only. So here also in program also, object meaning any real world entity is called object. Any real world entity is called object. Okay, so the next point is for creating the object, for creating the object, for creating the object, class is mandatory. Class is mandatory. For creating the object, class is mandatory. Without classes, we cannot create the object. Without class, we cannot create the objects. We cannot create the objects. Okay, so for creating the object, class is mandatory. Without object we cannot create the, without a class we cannot create the objects. Next uh, next point is objects exist physically. Objects exist physically. Objects exist physically. Okay, so how the JVM will allocate the memory? So generally objects will be stored in the heap memory, right? Objects will be stored in the heap memory. Stored in the heap memory. Already you know meaning JVM architecture. Objects will be stored in the heap memory. So generally I will show you the programmatical also. Then you can get the um, for example how you can create the object generally. um, Public class and class name is the demo, and from here to here this is the scope of the class. For example, if I want to create the object for this class, how could I create? I have the no operator and class name, and from here to here uh, so this is the object. This object will be stored in the heap memory. This will be stored in the heap area. This will be stored in the heap area. Okay, fine, very good. And this object again you can store in some reference variable name. That reference variable name you can mention anything, and different this reference variable data type is the demo. This reference variable data type is the demo. This reference variable data type is the demo. So generally in this case what will happen, in this case what will happen, I will show you the scenario with by using MS Paint. So through that you can get the clarity. So we'll see few more points on it, and then I will show you how it will allocate the memory in case of JVM. Okay. Okay, so here the next point is object creation, meaning allocating the memory only. Object object creation meaning allocating the memory in JVM. Allocating the memory in JVM. Allocating the memory in JVM. Allocating the memory in the JVM. So where we have the new operator, new is the keyword. New is the keyword which is used to create object. So this thing already you know. New is the keyword. New is the keyword which is used to create the object. Which is used to create the object. Which is used to create the object. So public class demo like this. So here new is the operator. With the help of new operator, we are creating objects. We are creating objects. Okay, so generally I will show you the normally how like when you create the object, how the JVM will create the objects. I will show you by using the MS Paint. Okay, fine. So generally, what will happen? So you guys already know uh, JVM architecture. So inside the JVM architecture, I'm taking only heap memory. You can assume this is a heap memory, and how it will object creating meaning, creating object meaning allocating a memory in the JVM. So what will happen in case of creating the object? So generally I will show you. For example, we have the class and we created the object. We created the object. So the object name is generally I will mention new, and class name is the demo. Okay, so when I mention like this, then one object got created. Okay, this object is the one object got created. Okay, so when you mention new demo semicolon, then internally object got created. One object got created. So this object should I use anywhere in my program? No, we cannot directly use. We cannot directly reuse. This is the demo object actually. This is the object. This got created in a heap memory. So this object I cannot directly reuse anywhere in my program. So that is the reason again this object I will store in one reference variable name. That reference variable name is demo, and this reference variable data type is the demo. Here also what I will do. So here I will give one reference variable name, and this reference variable name is the demo. Okay, this is the demo object. This is the object actually. This object again I am storing in some reference variable name. This is reference variable name. This is a reference variable name. Okay, this reference variable name you can give anything, not only a demo. So whatever you want, so you can give any name. Okay, you can give any name. You can give any name. Okay, so this object, when the object will be created, the point is the object will be created at the runtime. That is also one point. So object will be created by JVM in the runtime. So objects will be created in the JVM and runtime. In the JVM at runtime. At runtime. At runtime. Okay, at runtime. So object will be stored in the heap area. Object will be stored in the heap area. So that point already we discussed. For example, here the point is here, the thing is, for example, if you create the multiple objects and uh, like the execution is completed. So if you're not using the objects, then JVM has one assistant. That assistant name is the garbage collector. Okay, so what the garbage collector it will do? So it will identify unused objects. So obviously, if you're not using any object, then that is called unused objects. It will identify the unused objects. Who will identify? Garbage collector. Who is the garbage collector? Garbage collector is the assistant of JVM. So generally JVM has the assistant. That assistant name is the garbage collector. Garbage collector will identify the unused objects and it will remove automatically unused objects. It will remove unused objects. So generally the thing you can generally assume, for example, so is there any use like without using the objects you are allocating the memory meaning? So what will happen? Obviously our memory will be wasted, right? Obviously our memory will be wasted. So once the execution is completed and garbage collector, it will identify the unused objects and then it will remove the unused objects. It will remove the unused objects. So some examples I will tell you, so through that you can get the clarity. For example, for example, so you can assume there we have one movie. Okay, so the movie name you can take anything. So recent movies are like some car movie or any movie can take. And the movie like the memory around can assume like 3 GB like that. So if you already watched that movie, so is there any need the movie keeping in your pen drive? No need. If you are keeping the movie in your pen drive, then your memory will be wasted. So already you watched that movie. Then is there any need that movie keeping in your pen drive? No, there is no need. So obviously can remove that movie and then you can uh, you know we can use that memory to other purpose. Similarly here also, for example, I will tell one more example. So here we have the room, and in this room, so if the persons are keep on we are adding the person, then what will happen? So obviously some point of time, so the room will be filled with persons. The room will be filled with persons. So that is the reason JVM also has the assistant. What it will do, it will identify unused objects, and based on the unused objects it will remove the unused objects. It will remove the unused objects. So that is the point you have to remember. The thing is, we have the garbage collector. So garbage collector, what it will do generally, the point here it is garbage collector is responsible memory cleanup activities. So I will go to here and we have the garbage collector. Garbage collector. Garbage collector is responsible. Garbage collector is responsible for the memory cleanup activities in JVM. 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 Okay, memory cleanup activities in JVM. So garbage collector will remove unused objects. Next point is garbage collector. Next point is garbage collector. Garbage collector will remove. Garbage collector unused. Will remove unused objects. Unused objects from heap. From the heap. We can say heap memory or we can say heap. Heap memory. Heap memory. Okay, and next point, the thing is, so garbage collector can be managed and controlled by JVM only. So next point is garbage collector can be managed. Garbage collector can be managed. Garbage collector can be managed and controlled. Can be managed and controlled by the JVM only. By the JVM only. By the JVM only. Okay, so here the note point is programmers don't have control on the garbage collector. program Programmers don't have controls on garbage collector. Don't have controls on garbage collector. Don't have controls on garbage collector. Garbage collector meaning, so for example, if the uh, don't have the programmer don't have any controls on the garbage collector, so that is the default one, and it is controlled everything under the control of JVM. So it is the assistant for the JVM. It will identify the unused words, and it will identify the unused words, and then it will identify the unused words, and then uh, it will remove. It will remove. Okay, and next point is, so every object JVM will provide one unique hash code. So for every object, for every object, for every object, JVM will provide JVM will provide unique hash code. JVM will provide unique hash code. What does it mean by unique hash code? What does it mean by hash code? Hash code meaning address of the object. So we are allocating the object. We are storing the objects in the memory, right? So storing the object meaning some, uh, we are giving some address. So for every object, JVM will provide unique hash code. JVM will provide unique hash code. Unique hash code. Okay, unique hash code. Okay, so these are the things you can remember in case of objects. In case of objects, so the first thing is any real world entity is called object. For creating the object, class is mandatory. Without classes we cannot create the objects. Objects exist physically, and object will be stored in the heap area. Object creation meaning allocating the memory in the JVM, and new is the keyword which is used to create the object, and object will be created in the JVM at runtime, and garbage collector is responsible for cleanup activities in memory, activities in JVM. Garbage collector will remove unused objects from the heap memory, and garbage collector can be managed and controlled by the JVM only. Programmers don't have any controls on garbage collection. Garbage collection. For every object, JVM will provide unique hash code. Unique hash code. Unique hash code. Okay. And here the thing is, in Java, every class have the parent class. The parent class is the object. The parent class is the object. So I can say in Java, every class, parent class is the object. Parent class is the object class. Guys, don't confuse. This object class is different. and this object is the different. This is the real world entity, and this is the predefined class. Okay, this is the predefined class. Don't confuse. This is the predefined class, and this object is the anything. Any real world entity is called object, but this is predefined class. Okay, so in in Java, every class has parent class. Every class has the parent class, and parent class is object class. Parent class, that is object class. Okay, so object class, so I can say object class is the uh, object class which is available in java.lang package, which is available in java.lang package, which is available in java.lang package. Okay, in that we have the 11 methods. So we will use very regularly those 11 methods. So I will show you those 11 methods. You can go to the document. So already we have the document. I shared the document you, right? You can go to the document, Java SC8 document. You can open the document. Now we can go with java.lang package. Also, the point is java.lang package is the default package. Okay, no need to mention if you want to use any class available under the java.lang page. No need to mention any import statement. Why? Because the whatever the classes are available under the java.lang package, so all those classes you can use any program in the projects. Okay, no need to mention import .java.lang package. Why? Because this is the default package. If you mention or you don't mention, so it will be considered as the java.lang package. Java.lang package. So specifically no need to mention. If you don't mention also, by default, it considered as the we have the package that is the java.lang package. Okay. Okay, I am click on the java.lang package, and when I go through the java.lang package, and here we have the classes. So this you can see this is the object class. This is the object class. I am saying this is the object class, and this is the predefined class. If I click on the object class, object is different, object class is different. Object class is the predefined class. Okay, object is the real-time entity. So that the both the difference you have to understand. Okay, now guys, can you please read this? A class is the object, is the root of the class hierarchy. For every class has the object as a superclass. Okay, in Java, every class has the superclass, meaning every class has the parent class, that is the object. In that object, it is containing 11 methods actually, like clone method, equals method, okay, get class method, so hash code method. So I told you JVM will provide hash code, unique hash code for every object, right? So how you can find out that hash code? So I told you every JVM will provide every hash code, unique hash code for each object, right? So how you can find out? So you can find out that by taking by using hash code method. So where the hash code method is available? Hash code method which is available in the object class. And if you want to use uh, the methods available in the object class, you can reuse those methods. Why? Because that is the parent class, right? If it is the parent class, then you can access those classes and you can use. So I will write the program on it, and then I will show you. You can get the clarity on it. For example, so I would like to take the demo Java, and now this is previous sessions. Okay, this is normal Java class, right? This is normal Java class. Okay, this is normal Java class. Now what I will do, I will create two classes. So I will create the objects. How could I create? Demo, and this object will be stored in the heap memory. And again this I am giving one more reference variable, that object, and that reference variable object data type is the demo. This is object number one. But I want to create multiple objects, and this object. Now I want to know like the hash code of each object. So how could I know that? So like this, you can create number of objects, no issue. Okay. So in this case, I created only two objects. In your case, you can create number of objects. Based on the requirement, you can create number of objects. There is no restrictions and all. Now what I will do, I will take system dot out dot println. So here demo one is the variable name, and here I am mentioning hash code. Hash code method I am mentioning hash code. Okay, and this hash code method which is coming from java.lang package. So I'm not mentioning any import package name because no need to mention. Why? Because so java.lang package is the default package. So apart from java.lang package, if you want to use any prepared class, any other package, you have to manually you should mention import statement. But in case of java.lang package, there is no need to mention import statement. Why? Because that is the default. That is the default one. Okay. Okay, fine. So I'm saving this one, and now hash code is the method. Now what I will do, the file location where the file is available, you can go to that file location and open command prompt, run the file java c and demo.java, and then you can see the file has successfully compiled java and demo. Now you can see this is a hash code, right? How I am getting the hash code? Okay, fine, that is okay, good. Now I will create few more objects like so here I can mention three. Now the same statement I will copy from here, and okay, now I can mention D2 and D3. Now what I did here, generally class name is the demo. Okay, and I created three objects. So I told you, right, like for one class you can create number of objects, there is no restrictions, right? So here also my class name is the demo, so for that class I have created three objects. And I told you, right, like which is for object meaning allocating the memory in the JVM. So at the time of allocating the memory in the JVM will provide unique hash code for every object. Unique hash code for every object. Okay, fine. Okay, sir. You told you like every object JVM will give unique hash code. Is there any proof? Yes, we have the proof. So for that proof, hash code is the method. Where the hash code method is available? Hash code method is available in the parent class. Who is the parent class? Object class. Okay. So here, if you want to use any class available in the predefined under the java.lang package, no need to mention java.lang package. Why? Because that is the default package. No need to mention. Okay. So now I can come here, and again I can run my file. So java c demo.java, and now you can run the file. You can run the file. You can save the file. Demo d1, d2, d3, and then println demo d1, d2, d3. Okay. Now I can come here. We can compile the file, and now you can run the file. Now you guys observe. So how many objects, if you create any number of objects also, it will provide unique hash code for every object. So hash code meaning so address of the object. So same no two objects having same address. Okay. So this is the thing you have to remember. Okay. So what you guys will do, you can do the program on this. Like you can create for one class, you can take number of objects, and then you can create, and then you can pass the value. You can print the hash code. You can print the hash code. Okay. So today what we discussed today, I will give overview on it. So we learned about the class and object. Class and object. What is class? Class is a model or plan or template, and class is a blueprint of object. Class is used to declare the variables and methods. Project means collection of classes only. Once class created, we can create number of objects for the classes. And class is the predefined keyword which is used to create the class. Class does not exist physically, and class code will be stored in the method area. Class code will be stored in the method area. Next, syntax for the class is this one. And next, object. What does it mean by object? Object is the real world entity, and for creating the objects, class is mandatory. For creating the objects, class is mandatory. Next, we have objects will be stored in the heap memory. Okay, and new is the keyword which is used to create the object. Object will be created inside the in the JVM at the runtime. Garbage collector is responsible for the memory cleanup activities in JVM. Garbage collector in JVM will remove unused objects from the heap memory. Garbage collector can be managed and controlled by the JVM only. Programmers don't have controls on the garbage collector. Okay, so this is the thing. So what you guys will do, you can take one class, we can create a multiple objects for that, and you can use the you can go to the like object class and use the hash code method, and you can print the hash code of the object. So that is the thing. So this is all about the class and objects. So tomorrow we'll start with uh, variables, types of variables. So that's it today, guys. So anyone, any other questions?